So we're gonna go over how to graph the vertex in quadratic and vertex form. We're gonna talk about all the different transformation that we've seen so far. Okay, so this is again a review of what we have learned so far in this chapter. Okay, so remember that the vertex form is going to look like y equals a bracket x minus h squared plus k, where a, h, and k are numbers, right? Now, a represents what? When I'm stating transformation, what would I say for a? What does a do to my graph?
It changes the step pattern.
Changes step pattern. It will change the step pattern, but what does it do to my graph? Sorry? Vertical stretch or vertical compression. Okay, so A represents the vertical stretch. And vertical compression. What else can A do to my graph? So it's a reflection, right? Remember that the direction of opening. I'm just gonna say here and direction of opening. So is it up or down? Perfect. What does K represent in my equation?
Your y.
Of what? The y value of what? Of the vertex. What does it do to my graph? When I'm looking at K, what do I say when I'm stating transformation? Vertical translation. Okay, so K represents the vertical translation, and that's either up or down. And H represents the horizontal translation. And it could be left or right. Which letter represents the coordinate of the vertex? HK, right? So my vertex is represented by HK. Now, I'm looking at the equation y equals negative 4x minus 3 squared plus 5. How can I tell that this is a quadratic function? What tells me that this is quadratic? The degree of 2. You see that square right there? That's what tells me it's quadratic. Okay? So when it's quadratic, I know I must have a vertex, right? I know I need to follow the transformation. Now looking at this, let's state the transformation. I want to know what the transformation are. The question is not asking you to state it, but let's state the transformation, because that's probably what I'm going to ask you to state for me first. So what would be my transformations? Yeah. Okay, so you want to start with this? Why don't we start with this? Just move from left to right. Okay? But yes, we're going to get to that. What does that negative on the outside do to your graph? Yes? A reflection in the x-axis. So the reflection is caused by that negative that you see in front of the 4. Are we all good with that? What does a 4 do to my graph? Vertical stretch. So you can say vertical stretch by a factor of 4, or you can stop at vertical stretch. I'm just going to write the whole thing. When would it be vertical compression? If it's between 0 and 1, that's right. So if you have like 0.7, 0.5, right? Something like that's at 0 point something. Okay? Now, Aiden, can you tell me what does that 3 do again? So I can write it. So horizontal translation, 3 units to the right. Very, very important that you guys realize, right, that even though I look at it as a negative, but it's opposite to what I see in the bracket, okay? So this is causing it to move to the right. Okay? And the last transformation.
And vertical translation.
Yeah.
5 units up.
That's right. So I have vertical translation, 5 units up.
Have you for the second half?
All right. So we've looked at the transformation. Are you guys okay with the transformation? This would be worth a good 4 or 5 marks. Okay? So if you know how to do this, you've scored the good 4 or 5 marks that it's worth. But if you don't know how to do it, or you leave it blank, you're going to get a good 0. I don't want that. Okay, now, can you guys tell me what the vertex is? Hash?
3 units to the right and 5 units up.
So the vertex would be 3, 5. Good. I need to know what my vertex is because I'm going to use my vertex so I can graph my next point. Your vertex is the basics for to graphing the next points. Okay? Now, do we know what the step pattern is? So it's going to be 1, 3, 5 for this graph as well?
No.
What would it be for this graph? So I have to multiply them by -4 because remember that my step pattern is A times 1, 3, 5. So the step pattern is A times 1, 3, 5. And in this case, my A is -4. So it's going to be -4 times 1 times 3 times 5, which is -4, -12, -15. Okay? So -20, sorry, not -15. Good. So I know where my vertex is. I know where I'm supposed to go for my next point. Okay? What does by -4?
Reflection of the x-axis.
So I have a reflection, but that means I have to go down 4. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go step by step. I'm just going to cross these out. Okay, we're going to just do it in one step here. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you can see the... There we go. Okay, my vertex was where? Where is my vertex? Again, 3, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember what I told you on your quiz? If you brought me the quiz with no numbers on the axis, I told you go back and put me some numbers, okay? If I don't have numbers, I can't mark this. It's going to be, I'm going to have to remove marks off if I'm not going to give you a 0, okay? So make sure you see, I only put 3 and 5. That's all what I needed, right? So I don't need you to put 1, 2, 3. I don't need that. I just need some points. So this is where my vertex is. Okay. So I have the point, 3, 5. Now, where do I go from there? I have to go down 4. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and 1 over, right? I have to do the same thing to the other side. So from that same point, the vertex, I'm going to go down 4 to the left one, so I can locate my symmetrical points. Okay? Now, where do I go after that? 12 down. Okay? Now, from your new points, you're going to go 12 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's right here, and then 1 over, so that's going to be right here. And it's going to be on the same y value. Just make sure you move over. And you see that your graph is, number 1, it's opening downward. And number 2, looks like it is vertically stretched, right? You see how it's like narrow? So it does look like it's vertically stretched.
So would that still be, that wouldn't be considered reflected in the x-axis?
It is.
It is?
It's opening downward.
So it's still considered?
Yeah, because technically, if you had no negative, it's gonna look like this,
Okay.
right? But because it's negative, it's reflected down.
Okay.
Okay? Are we okay with graphing all kind of transformation now? We're looking at all of them at the same time, right? We had a reflection, we had a vertical stretch, we had a horizontal translation, and a vertical translation. Okay? Are we okay with this? So you can practice these 2 questions. Okay? You're going to have to take your transformation first, then you're going to have to graph.